Recording is started, and again, a lovely evening to everybody interested in the paravaulting project. Today we have the pleasure to discuss the topic of handicap classification for competition. And we are having our lovely speakers, Mrs. Božena Minková, who is the Vice President of Slovak Hipotherapeutic Association, and she's also an equine assisted therapist, and Mrs. Vanda Casková, who is a physiotherapist and Paravaulting Handicap classifier. So I will not delay the webinar anymore, and I'm handing over to our lovely speakers and wishing you a great experience in the webinar.
Hello for everybody. I'm very happy I can present you something from the handicap classification and my experience from Slovakia. I will begin about one idea. It came into my mind that paravaulting is a perfect inclusive sport discipline. If we compare it to para-dressage or para-western, where the competitors are competing either in mental handicapped category or with the physical handicapped category. And paravaulting is unique that joins together vaulters with physical and mental disabilities. And that's the perfect. Kids can compete together, either individual or in teams or in PaDD, where they compete in two. But what is very necessary and we have to think about is that they need to have the same or very similar conditions for all competitors. They compete together. And that's the role of the classifier. The aim is to create same and similar conditions, as I told, for every vaulter in a competition. So we have to think about that the person who classifies or tells about the category in which the kid will compete must be a professional with a medical or psychological or special educational background. Then it's very necessary to have an experience to assess skills skills that's needed for vaulting sport, but not only on the competition, because on the competition there is a lot of stress and kids are not performing as well sometimes as they do at the training. And I think that the self-experience with vaulting or EAT, equine assisted therapy, is a benefit for that person. Okay, so come and continue. I would like to tell you something about the history of classification in Slovakia. It took maybe 20 years ago, we began with paravaulting. And I had the experience with the vaulting for quite a long time, being also an individual vaulter, also a team member. And then after I became a coach for beginners and then also for teams competing on an international level. And then after a judge. And when I finished school, I became a therapist, equine assisted therapist. So I clearly knew about what to do with kids and what were my ideas about. Then before we had no paravaulting sport in Slovakia, we just had some shows for our parents or some sponsors. So the kids were used to do some vaulting exercises. Also, we used a lot of vaulting exercises during the therapy. Also with my colleague, she was a physiotherapist, so it was quite easily to find the direct exercises for each child. From the beginning, it was quite very interesting for us to find for all the kids aim of their life, because not only coming for the therapy can be aim, but also something that it's giving them root for all the life. And that was the sport on the horse. That was very easy to reach for everybody. And then we met Mrs. Ježková from Czech Republic, and she invited us for a competition. And in those times, the kids were competing in 3 groups. That was a group with kids with physical handicap, then the mild physical handicap, and the mental handicap. So we took about 10 kids, prepared them for the competition, and went there. And it was very nice. Kids were happy. But when we returned back, we discovered that it's very fine if you have only a little kids. But then we had about 30 or 40 competitors, and then suddenly we recognized that that we have no same conditions for all the kids, and we needed to make more groups. So then we decided to divide mental handicap and the physical handicap into 3 groups. It was a mild mental handicapped, middle mental handicapped, and a serious mental handicapped, and also with the physical handicap. So, and what was the problem was that the kids were mainly classified on the base of their skills. So also they were classified on their physical handicap, but their skills were the prime. And then once I had a girl, and I didn't thought about her to get to the paravaulting competition because she was on a wheelchair and with a cerebral palsy. Her upper part of the body was quite good and balanced. She was strong with her hands, but her lower part was very poor. Legs had deformations and were very weak. And she told me once that, oh, she would like to be a sport woman, and she wants to have a training like real sport women who come to the competition. And I told her, why not? So we can try it. But then we recognized that there we have a problem, because all the moves or exercises we have in a compulsory test were quite difficult for her. And she could easily do basic seat. She could quite easily do a dough, what's something like a flag without hand. But the mill was really complicated for her. And so here are some changes we made in the compulsory test in this group for kids with a serious physical handicap, because then we recognize that not only she have a problem with it, but also the other kids have a problem with that. And then we change the mill, and because for her it was very hard to lift up a leg and lift it above the handles. It was really hard and took a lot of time. And if someone from the outside was looking at her, it was a really hard walk for her, and only a beginning of the competition. So then we decided that she can do swing forward quite well. So we changed the first part of a mill, as we see on the picture on the top, to the swing with the sitting or finishing to the side, as we see on the lower picture. Then she turned backwards and made again swing backwards and continue to the side on the right side seat, and then again swing to the seat astride. And then one move was quite difficult for some children with cannot move really well the lower part of a body, or one part of the whole body is much more stronger. That was the kneeling position. Then then we decided that maybe it would be good not only to change the move. It was quite good move because she could train her balance, but maybe to change a bit the rules or guidelines for judges, that if the child, like we see on the picture, cannot do properly the move, she can do it the best way she could because of the handicap. But what was very important to tell it judges before the competition begins, that this child has such handicap and cannot do such a move, so we will do it another way. Okay, I will return a little bit backwards. So that was our way to do it. So on a national level, so maybe not, it's not a strict rule, just to show you how we did, what were our problems. And then when all the kids were competing and doing exercises, suddenly we recognized that we have a lot of children that under the medical statement or a psychological assessment, they are not handicapped, but they have some special problems. Maybe they need some specified access to them. And when we wanted to give them to a vaulting competition, they couldn't simply compete with the healthy kids in the normal vaulting competitions. So then we decided to make another group, and they were the individuals level C. They were quite normal kids, and they were also happy they could be a part of a competition. And then also, because we are coming from, all my kids were coming for the therapy, when the other kids saw that all the children are coming for the therapy, we had a group of multiply handicapped children. They had no chance to make whole compulsory test. So then we decided to make another group, and it was the group called free test. So these kids were just doing free test exercises that they could do. And so finally now we have 8 groups of the handicap we use for the competition. But what I know, that our Czech friends have a very nice classification scale, and I will finish now my presentation, and I will be very happy if Mrs. Vanda Casková will tell us something more about their classification. Thank you very much. No, neviem to zrušiť.
So, good evening to everybody. I would like to continue. Thank you very much to my Slovakia colleague, because the presentation is very interesting for us. And I would like to represent by Vanda Casková, because she doesn't speak well English, so I will do my best. And I would like to present her presentation about the classification of paravaulting. So let's start. A few words about the introduction about our association. In the Czech Republic, we've got an umbrella association for para riding. It's called Czech Equestrian Federation, and it includes 2 disciplines, para riding disciplines, and the official disciplines is para dressage and para vaulting. So now something about the classification in the Czech Republic. We've got 3 classificators, classification committees in the Czech Republic. One of them is Vanda Casková. She is the physiotherapist and national classificator for para dressage. The next one for the physical handicap, Vanda is a classificator for the physical handicap, is Dr. Martina Janzová. She is the physical specialization and rehabilitation medicine. And the third one is me. I am a special need educator, and I am a classificator for intellectual handicap. The condition for participation in competition is the classification of the handicap. In the Czech Republic, we have based it on the existing FAI classification protocol for paravaulting, and we respect International Paralympic Classification Protocol. The classification rules for paravaulting have been approved by our national organization. So I said it's Czech Equestrian Federation. and Paravaulting Commission. So paravaulting demands certain physical requirements, especially coordination, joint mobility, physical fitness, and muscular strength. Because function evaluation, the competitors classifiers assess functional abilities, including the motor and sensor skills. Of course, balance, it's really important, and strength and range of the motion. And the evaluation. The evaluation of medical records and tests ascending dynamic motor function with respect to the needs of paravaulting. I would like to show you a few videos with our competitors, especially for the physical handicap, and I hope the connection will be right. So we've got, in the Czech Republic, we've got two categories. One of them is the physical disability, and the next one is intellectual disability. Of course, according to the degree of handicap, then into individual grades, because sometimes it's very difficult to do the best for the competitors, but we need a lot of information about the competitors. So I will tell in the next slide. Men and women compete together according to the approved our national rules and, of course, international rules too. So the first one is physical disability. Physical disability grade 1, so the basic level. It's a minor deviation in physical development. We can see body structure and health physical disabilities with a mild impact and on gross and fine motor skills. You know, the gross and fine motor skills is very important for a physical improvement. And the next one is the change in health that caused limitation in physical activity, minor physical defects, mild hypotonia, and minor limb malformation. So this is the physical disability grade 1 in the Czech Republic. The next one is physical disability grade 2. Means changes in health causing partial limitation of physical activities. The next one is permanent changes in physical development, limited joint mobility, reduced limb function, and of course, coordination, balance, and malformation of limbs. Physical disability grade 3 means change in health conditions causing significant limitation of physical activities. CNS means central nerve system disorders like spasticity, cerebral symptoms. You can imagine cerebral palsy. It's typical for the physical disability grade 3. And the next one, like the physical disability grade 2, coordination and balance disorders, and limitation of joint mobility, deformities of limb parts, and spasticity, paralysis, and large malformations. Here is a video, I hope. You see the video, and in the video you can see two girls, two competitors. They competed in pairs. and both of them is in a grade 3, and both of them ladies with cerebral palsy. You can see a little bit spasticity. Of course, joint limitation. So this is a view, especially for practice, the physical disability grade 3. The next one. A young man with cerebral palsy too. And he competed in the same grade as two girls. You could see the video before. They've got the same limitation. Of course, the competitor from grade 3, the competitor can jump to the level, to the grade 2, or from the grade 2, the competitor jump to the grade 1 level. So the special categories is competitor with combined disability. It's very difficult to classification, especially for the physical handicap, because of course the combined disability combined intellectual and physical handicap too. So the intellectual disability, they've got physical disability, sometimes sensory impairment, and sometimes they've got autism. So it's quite difficult to do the right and do they classificate to the right level and to the right categories. So the classificator, according to the predominant severity of the disability and taking into individual manifestation. So the next categories is intellectual disability. Intellectual disability, you know, is complex of specifies with regards to personality, social adaptability, behavior, motor skills, attention, and many others, and all of them before the age of 18. But we have to thinking about, because they've got problems in motor skills, especially fine and gross motor skills, sensory motor skills, and social and psychomotor skills, and impact on real life. So here is video of intellectual disability. It's several disability, and she has attention disorders with hyperactivity. So it's really good to see. And sometimes it's typical for the intellectual disability. So the classification. In developing the classification protocol for the mentally handicapped, we based our classification on the official World Health Organization, International Statistical Classification of Disease and Associated Health Problems, ICD. So we classification by the mental retardation. Oh, sorry. In the Czech Republic, we can do physical evaluation, focus on testing the cognitive abilities of children, like psychologists or counseling center. And we can choose special education center. Special education center focus on helping children with disabilities in all type of school, or pedagogical psychological counseling center provides specialist psychological and pedagogical care, and special education evaluation determine current abilities and skills, strengths and weakness in relation to the educational process. But it's only for the Czech Republic. I think it will be quite different in other countries of the world. But as I said, it's really important to thinking that not only the determination of the mental level of the competitors, but also movement abilities play a role, especially on horse. So we use EQ value should be an indicative, not a K parameter in the classification of individual with intellectual disabilities. Because, as I said, motor abilities also plays a role in classification, as it influences gross and fine motor skills. Especially fine motor skills is very important. So for paravaulting, we divide it into 3 grades. Intellectual disabilities 1 to intellectual disabilities 3. So when we classify something about the classification procedure in the Czech Republic, we submitted a request for classification and documentation like medical documentation, documentation, educational and psychological. And we assessment the documentation by national classification person, like physiotherapist, doctor, or special need educator. Then we evaluate the test files based on motor function diagnostic, and the result determined on the basis of evaluation of a medical documentation and test files. Very important is a medical report. The medical report include the neurology or internal medicine or sensory defect, maybe the psychiatry too. For the intellectual disabilities, for the classification documents, it's from the Special Need Education Center or pedagogical and psychological counseling, or center psychologic or clinical psychologist, and the psychiatrist too, because they can do the diagnosis for the competitors. So thank you very much for your attention, and if you will have some questions, I will try to do my best and answer the questions.
Markéta?
Yeah?
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, now, now I
yeah.
can, but I couldn't hear you.
Okay, thank you so much for both of you. I would like to thank both speakers for your nice presentation. I have a question for Markéta. I know that in Czech Republic we have this type of classification. We have this classification done for this year. We will follow this classification. But my question is, if you are still thinking to renovate it or to find a new category, or because I know you are still working on it. So if in your mind is something new.
Yeah, thank you for the question. I think it's very important to thinking about new categories, especially not like Virtus, because I think it's not quite easy to change the Virtus system to the classification for the paravaulting, but I think it's very important to thinking about the categories for the autism children, especially because they've got special problems, and I think it will be very good if we will have the one of the categories, especially for the autism children or autism person.
Okay, thank you. And what about the category with Down syndrome? Because in other sports,
I know we spoke about it, and I think it will be really good. But I hope we will see the new categories for Down, because they've got special physical abilities. Because if you have the children with the mental disability, like the severe mental disability, and the children with Down syndrome, a lot of children with intellectual disability, they've got a physical disability too. But when we're thinking about the Down syndrome, a lot of them have only intellectual disability, but they've got really good physical abilities for the sports. especially for the gymnastic sports. So I think it will be very good when we will have the new categories only for the Down syndrome. It will be quite good for the categories of intellectual disabilities, because they've got a little bit problems with the physician, because a lot of them, they've got the cerebral palsy, and they've got a problem with the limb and joint, and they've got a problem with coordination and balance. And competitors with Down syndrome, they haven't this problem.
Okay, thank you. I totally agree with you, because I think it's only one big category which we can compare internationally, and it will not be so difficult to combine them. But with the other categories, it will be quite difficult to combine them in the same grades, even physical, even intellectual disability.
So we can thinking and we can discussing about it in the international level. I think it's very important to discuss.
Yes. And one question to Božka. How is your paravaulting level in Slovakia now? How many competitors do you have, or it's growing right now?
If I tell you true, we are a bit sleeping, I would say. We are quite separated, because two big clubs, they had more vaulters, are now not working. So there are only my kids, so we are doing not national competitions, only the club competitions for us. but I hope that we will rise in some times, because our national federation has the aim to develop it a bit more. So they try to include more normal vaulting clubs into paravaulting. So it will be good, I hope.
Sounds good. Perfect. Okay, it seems we don't have any more questions.
Jana, I have one question that is not connected with the topic, today's topic. Because I thought about translating these webinars in Polish, put some subtitles for the recorded webinars, but I should have permission for this from the, I think, your federation or something like this. Can you ask for it? And what do you think about this? Is it possible?
I think it is possible. I am sure we got agreement, because in our project that was written that all these webinars will be free of charge. All these webinars will be recorded, and we try to distribute it in all countries. So I think we will be very open if you want to translate it, if you want to make some subtitles and spread it in your country. There is no, how can I say, barriers.
Okay, so you think that you could manage some paper document for this, or we don't need it?
Maybe if you can prepare it from your club or federation or association, whatever you want, just to write one paper. If they can get some permission, just one sentence, and I can send it to our federation.
Okay, okay. I will try to find time for this.
Okay. But it's on, all webinars are on YouTube and they are public.
Yes.
So
Yes, but I should, if I want to put the subtitles for all our example, I need to use those webinars and like change them. So not allowed to use something like this. So I should put it on our YouTube channel with new subtitles. I think like this. So I don't know. I will because when I was checking how to do this, it was like that. It's my first time, so I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I will ask Vera because she knows some more about this. Maybe she will tell me how to do it in an easy way.
And some, for example, even YouTube, they can translate or they can make us subtitles
Yes,
fluently, but you have to find your way because there is
but
presentation and
yeah, when I would like to, because sometimes you know the automatic translator don't use proper words, so I would like to do it properly.
yes, yeah, to help. Okay, so just let me know when you need some help.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
So, are there any more questions from everyone?
Seems not.
It was really informative. And I would like to thank, of course, the author of the project, Mrs. Minková. And then thank you to everyone who has taken the time to listen. And we will look forward to hear you or see you in the next webinar. So wishing a nice evening to everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much to everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
COVID-9.